Welcome everybody, thank you for joining us today. We have Estelle from the SACBW here with us. Very excited to chat to her about how digital business affects the youth and how this wonderful conference is helping educate and bring some more information to everyone. Thank you again for joining us today. Very excited to be able to chat to you. And thank you for putting together this wonderful conference. It's really something phenomenal that helps the youth. And we wanted to get your perspective on a few things. Obviously, sort of how you've seen digital business rise post-COVID and how you feel that has an impact on both our local economy in the near future and some ideas you may have of how people can embrace the use of tech more.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Carl. It absolutely affects business like you can't believe. A friend of mine is in Australia and he's very high-end marketing, as in his clients pay him $1 million for some of his projects. And he told me that a week or two ago, he used AI to write an entire presentation for him. He then went through the presentation afterwards and fine-tuned it, and because of his expertise, changed a few things. But I was totally blown away. Instead of it taking him 3 days to write a presentation, it took him 3.5 hours. So it's amazing what it can do in different, and he's in IT security, so it was a program around IT security. It's not about marketing or one of the soft issues, it's like a serious issue. So I'm quite impressed with it.
That's amazing. I love the way you say that he used something that would have taken him days and he managed to compress that into hours, but still went back and refined it. And this is something we pick up a lot, like you said, outside of marketing. And it's true for almost every industry with AI and tech's rise in the working industries, the finance, the educational sectors, is this need to go back and read and understand what you generate. And one of the things we like to bring up a lot is, obviously, have you made any use cases in your sort of line of work as it stands? With your generation leading ours, and ours being the generation before the youth we were educating, it's phenomenal for us to see how tech influences each generation's skill and workload.
So I've just played around with it a bit, having fun, asking it to draw or come up with a visual of Tom Cruise's eyes with this one's hair and this one's nose and whatever, and just seeing what the outcome is. So I've studied a lot. I've got a degree, 2 diplomas, I've lectured at varsity, so I'm very technical, right brain minded. But somehow with AI, I don't feel like I want to get into it to understand it. I want to play with it first. Because I'm more comfortable playing and see what it can do in play before I trust it enough to use it in business, probably. As I'm speaking, I'm wondering why I do that. And I think it's to develop trust, to see what it does while I'm playing and then incorporate it in my business. Another way that I've used AI recently as well, I'm looking at immigrating, and I've asked AI to help me to write my CV, because the last time I used my CV was in 2015, and I haven't updated it, so I fed it what my previous CV looked like, and then some of the stuff that I did, and it was unbelievable what it came up with, and just the way that it put it together, rather than the way I would have put it together.
I love that. And something that you mentioned that I love is that people are learning to play with the information and the tools. Something that someone said to us recently was AI is to the modern world what the hammer was to the building industry or the spade was to the gold rush. It's a tool, but ultimately if you don't play with the tool, you cannot understand it and use it, which is obviously why we love being able to test its boundaries in various industries. And the use in a CV is a phenomenal one because as the youth come into the marketplace, they obviously need to be able to produce themselves in a presentable manner. And the number one problem most people come up with is, how do I prepare my CV? So that's a wonderful use case I think the youth can definitely benefit from. And something that we've also seen coming up in playing with AIs, and I love that you say the image generation, because so much of the market is used to the text generation, ChatGPT, that using the image generation is obviously a wonderful feature. And looking forward to the future, do you feel that, like you say, with a bit of refinement and control with, you know, humans' creativity, that you would use AI more in what you do, both public facing and internally for structures?
Definitely. So my biggest values in life is my time and money. And the more time you spend on doing something, the less money you can make. Or the more money you spend having someone else do it for you, and you could do it in a shorter period and do it yourself. So all of those factors excite me in that one can start doing a lot of things on your own. I've seen a few ads. So the funny thing is, and I suppose it's partly AI, that because I've been researching a bit about AI, when I watch clips now, you know, like YouTube clips or TikTok clips or whatever, every third one is about AI. And hey guys, have you heard about this site? Someone's going to kill me for telling me you can actually do this. So I've been watching this, and you know, there's things where you can create your own website in a few minutes. And because I'm technically driven and I understand marketing so well, I've always worried about what people do with the back end, the SEO of websites. But now there's AI that doesn't just do the pretty front end, it actually does the SEO back end as well. And so it's phenomenal. I'm concerned that many people are going to be without jobs that used to do these things, but I'm pretty sure they'll now find new innovative ways to use AI to then create new career paths and do new things.
That's so true, and that's something we do see majorly is this clear divide between those that use AI to be lazy, which just slap it in, dump it out, and submit. And this is something we've noticed in with some of our educational partners, is where they can spot it immediately. And then you take the flip side to it, the professionals who look at the tool, the tools of various, you know, image, video, and text, and they actually go, how can I use this to make my job better? Or, and the rise of COVID proved this wonderfully, is how can I take my skill set and knowledge and use these tools to bring it to the public in a way that's cost effective and affordable for everyone. And one of the main things we like to do is, in promoting the use of these tools to grow business, is to ask everyone we interview, what piece of advice would you give the next generation of creators, the youth, the yet to join the workforce, be it your college kids or your high school kids? What piece of advice would you give them in pursuing a better career while making use of these tools, not to negatively impact their future?
So to start answering that question, I want to tell you I've got a 23-year-old that's fifth year chemical engineering at Stellenbosch. So this year, as his fifth year, he does his thesis. And they've been threatened by the university. We've been given letters, and they have, that if the varsity detects that they used AI with their thesis, they immediately get scorched, suspended, yeah. They lose their whole, not just for the year, they lose their whole degree. So 5 years of chemical engineering is not a joke. And it's so easy to use AI, even for chemical engineers, to help them with their work. So I think what that taught me was there's still value in studying. There's still value in following a passion or something that you're good at. I think AI can enhance that. It can take you to the next level. I don't think it replaces it.
This is very, very true. And with that note, it is absolutely evident that a tool is only as good as the hand that guide it. And for any future generations to make great use of tools provided to them, not only now, but whatever may come forward, is to not remove the human element, to still understand what we use it for, so that if you ever asked out of context, you actually know what you're talking about. And this is so true in many, many youths that go into the workplace. When you grill them, they don't know what they're talking about because they never actually paid attention to what they've studied. So as good as it is having a research assistant, if you don't actually learn what you're doing, it will hurt you.
Or we don't want chemical engineers putting stuff in our food or in our buildings that hasn't actually
and then your
run the course.
Concrete starts crumbling and
Absolutely.
So there we go, exactly. Beware the laziness that can come from outsourcing your own brain. Thank you so much, Estelle. That was a wonderful interview, and I'm fantastic and hope that the education goes wonderful forward. And we look forward to chatting to you at the next one.